The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah!
Go Cowboys!
Let's go, baby!
Are you ready for a break?
Yes.
Are you ready for a break?
Absolutely.
Ready for a break?
Yeah, and so much for that.
It's time for The Break on DallasCowboys.com.
We were on the break!
With Nick Eatman, Brian Broaddus, Ambar Garcia, and Derek Eagleton.
It is Friday, November 18th, 2022, Season 18, Episode number 74. Welcome to the latest edition of The Break. We're live from the SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star, presented by Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. Today we get you ready for Cowboys' upcoming game versus the Minnesota Vikings. That happens this Sunday. And we're going to get you ready. We're going to get to some predictions by the time we get to the end of the show. We'd like to hear from you guys today. Call us. The number is 888-855-2297. Again, it is 888-855-2297. We'll take calls throughout the show, sprinkle them in with some of the other questions I have for these guys and some questions we've already gotten on Twitter as well. How's everybody doing today?
Great.
As everybody's on their phone or computer.
No, I was just.
I feel like I'm dealing with my kids right now.
I just realized I looked down and I got like purple sleeves on and everything else.
What's up with that?
Omega Psi.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
There's the door, Brian.
Yeah, you don't. I'm sitting there thinking, and then I even wore my purple Converse, but it's all LSU. LSU related. Yeah, it's LSU.
All in on the Vikings, aren't you?
I'm not going in on.
Converse.
Don't ask me who I'm going to pick, but yeah.
No, I heard you yesterday on the radio, so I know exactly who you're going to pick.
I did a podcast this morning. I kind of gave a reason why, but yeah. But
we'll get to that.
No, we're good. We're good. We just huge game, man. Especially with what happened, last night and stuff like that. I think Green Bay got eliminated last night. I was kind of worried about them kind of climbing back into this thing. All of a sudden you're battling with them as that. It's the 5th, 6th, it's 6th, 7th seed. Oh, wait, it's head-to-head. What, that kind of stuff.
I actually was thinking, like, about 5 o'clock when I realized who was playing in the game, and I said, tomorrow morning, Brian's going to say, like, I was so 50-50 on that game. I was like, Brian's going to say one of two things. He's going to say, good job letting them back in there, letting that guy back in there. Now they're 1-2 in a row and all that if they win. If they lose, they're going to be like, why didn't you play better like that? Why couldn't the Cowboys have done what the Titans did or whatever? So one way or another.
I kind of wish the Cowboys were the Titans. The way they play, the Titans, they get guys banged up. They have half their guys, and they find ways to win. I could pull for a team like that.
You always say, whatever Zeke and Pollard are doing, 14, 13 carries, 27 carries, and that guy. They
Derrick
do have
Henry.
that guy. He's bigger
Derrick
than
Henry.
both and faster than both.
Yeah. That guy is
He can throw touchdown passes, as we saw last
That
night.
was
He can run
pretty sweet.
touchdown passes, huh?
See my man
touchdown
Burks
runs.
making plays last night.
Saw that, yeah.
Kind of gave my guy the
Actually made a couple.
gave Alexander you're the little guy. He gave
did
me
that
little
to
guy.
him?
He gave little guy signal to him. Yeah.
He gave him a couple. He had a couple nice catches last night. So
Yeah.
that team is going to be that's going to be an interesting game there in December at a time of year when you're going to need wins.
You're going to need it. Yeah.
That's going to be an
And they're going to need it
interesting game.
too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's going to be a really interesting game.
And I know this. It will
In that
be
cold ass
so
stadium.
cold.
Yeah, I know.
You
That's what
don't
I'm
think
saying.
Tennessee is being cold, but it's right off
Did
the
we
water.
go to that
Yeah,
one
no, it's cold.
time?
Yes.
That one time, and
Merry Christmas.
I think
2000.
Randall Cunningham didn't want to play that day, and then I got lost. We were staying there at the Gaylord.
Greatest hotel ever.
And it was like it's like being in an airport. Like I didn't know how to get to the front door. I literally trying to meet people for go to dinner. Like, where are you? I go, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm somewhere in this hotel.
You see Brian just standing like, I don't know.
I don't know where I am. But yeah,
that was the
that
coolest.
place, that stadium, it's cold. The fans are mean. I mean, God.
Oh, it's going to be cold in Minnesota this week. Lucky thing is we
Good
won't be
press
outside.
box.
It will
Yeah,
be good.
yeah.
And you mean in Tennessee or
Tennessee.
in Minnesota?
Minnesota's
pretty good.
Minnesota's good too because
It's
it's
still
so
open
loud.
air.
Yeah,
It is open air.
And they have you talk about the one job in life that just absolutely doesn't matter. It's the guy that does the PA announcing in the press
In
box
Minnesota?
that is overshadowed by all of the sound. So it's just like Dalvin Cook 4-yard carry, to the 26. You're like, and you're going to be trying to type that stuff in. You're not going to hear it all.
No,
You
won't. You just better find.
This
Before the game starts. You better figure out where it is on the
Yeah.
board because that's where you're gonna have to look.
This is the stadium where Derek's gonna pull out his phone, open up his little decibel app, check out how many decibels. Is that the right word?
Decibels, yeah. I want to see how loud it is.
Last year,
and then he'll show me. He's like, "Look, you see him."
Last year, I was really surprised how, and it's different. Minnesota's not having the season they are this year, but I was really surprised how many Cowboy fans there were last year. I mean, there were a lot.
Why was that shocking, though? I kind of expected it.
I
think you'll get some carryover from what you saw in Green Bay getting over those Midwest fans. You're kind of giving them a back-to-back taste of your football team.
You got some of those.
A little bit easier to stay in Minneapolis than it is to stay in Green Bay.
True, but this team, though, I mean, they're 8-1. I mean, they're having a great season, and they definitely, and they're.
It's an irritating place to play in the league.
That stat I saw, it was the first time since like 1976 that a team that's 8-1 or better with their starting quarterback is a home underdog.
Yeah.
It's just.
I'll tell you what. I've learned this.
I don't like that.
I've learned this I've learned this about doing radio.
Why?
Vegas is usually right on these things.
Right.
And here I am. I'm going to probably go against them, but they're right about a lot of things. So they play the analytics game.
Look.
Yeah.
I'm coming off a week where the folks in Vegas said that my college team would win by 7.
Yeah.
And we lost by 10.
Yeah.
So I'm not. Really
You're not buying it. All right.
I'm not buying right now.
Yeah.
Well, I'm coming off a team where Vegas said that my team would lose by 3.5 points to LSU, and they lost by 3.
Yep.
I guess it happens.
It does happen. This is just such a hard place to play.
It is.
It's a hard place to play, and they got a good team.
Loud,
and and if you don't handle it, they can make you look really bad.
That's exactly right. All right, so let's jump in. Let's talk a little bit about injuries first. There are 4 guys that I want to get some updates on. Let's start first with Tank Lawrence. What are we hearing about him and his injury and his possibilities of playing this weekend?
I was told yesterday that he should be fine. Now where I think we're to the end of kind of getting to the point of the season where Tank's really not interested in practicing a little bit. He's like,
can't say that I blame him on that.
Yeah, I mean, but the word I got on Tank was he should be fine, and then I always remember I heard that Sam Williams was fine, and then he's inactive that Sunday. So, I take it what it is. I don't think they would let him play with a fractured foot, if that's what people are talking about right now, or fractures or problems with fractures or whatever. So,
the quote was, "I have all intention of having him play." That was what McCarthy just said.
Yeah.
And McCarthy's played the game all year long where, it's getting to the point where some of the stuff that Mike says when it comes to injuries is not really that accurate. I mean, and he's trying to do that. That's the plan. So, but he did say that, and that's what Tank said.
But when you mention, and I'm speaking about Tank, when he stands up there in front of the media and he mentions my foot, well, actually both feet, and then my knee.
Foot, yeah.
So it's like, whoa, okay, that's a lot. And then within that same sentence, you hear, but my intention is to play this week, and you're like, what? Like, how does that work? And we know a lot of players play hurt, especially in this part of the season, but damn, that sucks.
Well,
especially when you're trying to talk about the running defense. He's one of the best players, I think.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah,
you're not
that's
wrong.
the one guy you can't lose if you're having problems with the run right now.
That's how you hedge your bets. That's what you do. You get 2 tackles for nothing. He's like, D-Law got 2 tackles. And he's dealing with 4 injuries right now. But if he gets 6 tackles and 2 sacks and a forced fumble, then you're like, look at the warrior that Tank is. I mean, he's doing all that. That's what happens. That's what you do. He's going to play. I think he's
going to play.
All right, let's move on. Give me Zeke Elliott.
Zeke.
Like my kids over there looking at the phone.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
My
you were
kid-
complaining
We
about
got-
us.
No, we got
breaking news over there?
No, we got phone callers, and I'm trying to get all that.
I'm
stuff.
sorry,
We
I'm
got
sorry,
phone
Zeke.
callers coming in.
Zeke, I do feel like he's going to play. I mean, just by what he was saying yesterday, and I thought it was interesting. He said that this is a different injury. This is different than what he's had before, and not the same as last year. Even though it kind of feels like it is because it's also knee and it's about the same time of year. But we saw the injury from the press box. We saw the tackle against the Lions.
Yeah.
Now he did go back in the game, but you could just see, and we're
Wasn't
way
good.
up there by Saturn, and we could see that. That's just awkward looking, and so, but he's tough, and I think it's gonna be interesting to see how they get him and Pollard in there together. I think what you've seen out of Pollard the last 2 games suggests that I don't know if you do it the same way. I think maybe Pollard gets a lot more carries than he has been, and maybe they manage it a little bit more. I'd like to see a flip in the number.
Yeah, I think people are asking for the flip. I'm okay with Zeke for 3, Zeke for 4, Zeke for 4, Zeke for 3, and then Pollard for 18.
Yeah,
you know,
me
I
too.
mean, if I'm okay with that. But you know what? The one thing they've learned this year is to get Pollard in there earlier.
Yeah.
It used to be like we talked about the one series, and if it went 3 and out, we wouldn't see him until the second half. They figured out that this guy legitimately, you can hand him the ball 20-something times, and he's going to be just fine.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I don't necessarily need to see a flip. I think, let's be honest, they were running the ball all season with the formula that they had, and it was working well.
Yeah.
So I think you keep.
They
doing what
win
you're
that
doing.
game in my opinion, they win that game if Elliott plays.
Yeah.
Just because I felt like that they would take a different path for how to run the ball.
Well, you did see Dak take 3 quarterback sneaks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's probably only done that once or twice this year, or maybe a couple more times than that. He hadn't played a lot. I get that, but I mean, I just feel like those 3rd and 1s, they were, even one of them was a long one, almost 2, and they still got it with Dak. So I feel like they weren't even giving Pollard that opportunity.
Yeah,
But
and they probably don't do that if Zeke's there.
I told
they give
you
it to
early
Zeke.
in the game, I was like, I want to see Malik Davis. I don't think he'd even played yet. I was like, man, I want to see him because I think he fits this type of game. So I think he's a good runner too. I like him.
Yeah.
He'll be good next year when he's the guy.
Well, he did have that one series where they used him a lot, and he had some big.
I'll
runs
tell you
in
what, you're
that
not
series.
wrong. I mean, people are asking me about that same thing you just said, kind of
What's going to
implied. Yeah, I mean that and draft a 3rd round running back. Okay, there you go. That's how
I can tell you this. I don't think that if, obviously Pollard is a free agent. I don't think Pollard's going to get a nice contract. I don't think he's a huge contract guy.
Sure.
I don't think he's going to get a nice contract, and they pay Zeke what they're on the hook to pay Zeke. So if that answers your question.
They
then
won't do that. I think they'll keep Zeke. I think
They may just pay him less. He'll have to take
I
a
think
pay
Zeke
cut,
will
yeah.
get a tank deal where it's like we're paying you less.
Yeah.
It looks like it's a guaranteed deal. It's really a pay cut. So
Right.
hopefully you
And we'll pay you a lot
this
up
way.
front and make you feel good about it.
I
but-
tell you, Tony Pollard's contract is going to be a very interesting deal around the league. Whoever does it, because he's still a 5th-year running back. And he's not the biggest back in the world. So he's 5th-year guy. What do you do with that? What do you pay? I mean, that is not going to be.
He's going to end up with the Dolphins and have a great career.
Oh, I'm sure he will.
I mean, somebody will figure out how to take him, like that guy down in Miami, or somebody will figure it out. I mean, I think they were just a little late with him.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be someone's number 1 though.
But they'll do a lot of things.
But will
with
they
him.
have to try to pay him like that? That's the hard part.
That's what's tricky.
Yeah,
I
that's the
think
hard part.
they'll somebody's going to say, I want him to be like Swift in Detroit with the other back that I've got, which is still good. But what do you pay for that?
They'll pay him more than they'll pay him in Dallas. That's the thing.
I agree.
And that's not going to be premium running back money, I don't think. Yeah. But that's the interesting part. In today's NFL, where most teams do a dual back system, are you going to have to start paying premium money for whoever's in that dual back role?
We're starting to run the ball more in the league now.
Yeah.
Running backs are starting to have a new life.
Yeah.
If everybody's going to be real small up front, they're going to figure out ways to, you can have, I tell you what, it's going to save teams money running the football. You go ahead and pay the back, because offensive line play, what I've learned is you could have 5 just guys that might be bad pass blockers, but can find a way to run block, and that's how teams are kind of moving the ball.
And that's why, I know we're getting kind of way off the topic here, but
off-season talk here.
But that's what the Cowboys have to realize, is that there's not many teams in about a year or two that's going to have, I think they'll have a top 10 quarterback in Dak, and then they'll have the highest paid corner in the league, the highest paid defensive player in the league, I would think. And then, you got to deal with all these other high-priced contracts. So that's why you don't trade for Brandon Cooks, because you got to have these picks. You got to have that 3rd or 4th round pick. You got to hit on these guys, and they have to be starters for you. And they have. They've done a good job with the draft.
Tell me what we're looking at with Anthony Brown and Anthony Barr, the ABs.
I think both are okay there.
Both are going to play, I believe.
I haven't heard any different on this.
Brown hasn't been cleared yet, but he will be. I think he will be. Here's a big sign for that. They made him available to the media yesterday. Anthony Brown.
Yeah.
If guys that have concussion, they have never been available to the media until they're really cleared to go ready. No, I don't think he's been cleared for practice in full, but that will happen today. But the fact that he was talking to the media and that they had that that's a good sign he'll be there. And I think it's going to take a lot to get Anthony Bard not to come back and play this game.
Yeah, he didn't say it on the record, but after the game, I heard him saying in the locker room he was fine. He's like, I could have gone back in the game, but they just wouldn't let me. And obviously, that's the way. Yeah, and that's the way it should work. Once you have that symptom, once you have that any inkling that that's the case, get him out of the game. Don't let him back in, even if they think they can come back and play.
It's funny how 5 days can make, because at first, he gives up a pass to a guy that I hadn't heard of ever, and I was like, for a touchdown. And I don't even remember if you mentioned it in your. I mean, like you were mentioning him in the receivers. I'm sure you mentioned his name.
No, he's had 5 touchdowns in 2 games,
right?
Yeah, and like 0 up until then. Yeah,
that's what I mean. I was like, he gives up a touchdown. You're like, God, Anthony Brown, seriously. And then now, like, the guys on him,
Watson's
like
on a heater,
Randy Moss type, numbers. So it's like, okay, I don't feel so bad anymore. Like now he's like a fantasy stud.
He was a good player at North Dakota State. I mean, when he's from Tampa, his dad was an NFL player,
second round pick, right?
Yeah, and you're kind of thinking like, well, how did this kid not end up at one of those SEC schools? How does he, or a Florida State or something like that? He kind of went through the cracks there. He's a Tampa kid, so interesting.
I'll tell you this: that touchdown he caught last night, it's impressive. Like he skied up for that one, so he's got some skill and
confident player right now.
Coming out of small school, maybe that's part of it. It just took him a little while to kind of get there, and now it looks like he's starting to figure it out.
Small school that comes down here and wins the national championship every year.
Every freaking year.
Those people up there in North Dakota are paying taxes down here now. They're here so much.
Yeah, they show up in their green and yellow.
No, they know the area better than me. Like, can you tell me? I go up to the guy. Can you tell me where to eat? And, there's this place over here you need to go to. Okay,
they're always out here at the Star, just kind of hanging out.
They love hanging out.
FBS or FCS, is that what that is? FCS? Yes,
so.
FCS. I always forget which one it is. B for Bulls. FCS is the Division 1 AA used to be, and North Dakota State is the power. They come down here
every year.
Frisco.
Every year.
The championship here.
All right, let's go take our first. We do a lot of kids coming through today.
I mean, there's nobody in the school anymore.
Look, they're looking at you like stop talking about school. We are not in school. All right, we're gonna take our first break. When we come back from break, we got some questions already lined up. We got some phone calls from some different fans. We'll get to that when we come back. This is DallasCowboys.com radio.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. It's not complicated.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
What do you call a group of grown men and women with their faces painted silver and blue who get together every week to share a 3-hour-long ritual of jumping, singing, and toasting Miller Lite in 10-gallon hats while yelling, "How about them Cowboys?" You call it Miller Time in Dallas. Here's to the Cowboys. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller Time. Celebrate responsibly. 2021 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black? Right now, you can get the Jack Black Starter, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The starter includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites, plus a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Go to getjackblack.com/Cowboys and use the code word TEAMJB. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys. The Jack Black Starter, $10, free shipping.
When you build, you start with the foundation. And home ownership is a foundation of a stable future. The Bank of America Community Home Ownership Commitment has helped over 34,000 people lay the groundwork so far, with up to $10,000 towards your down payment or 3% of the purchase price, whichever is less. The satisfaction of owning your own place can become a reality. Visit bankofamerica.com/homeowner to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America NA, Equal Housing Lender. Credit and collateral is subject to approval. Restrictions apply. This is not a commitment to lend.
Back to the break.
Join us at the Star for our most festive movie night ever. Movie Nights at the Star, presented by Monument Realty on November 30th, features a Christmas classic, Elf. The show is free and open to the public and begins at 7 p.m. For more information, visit thestarinfrisco.com.
Welcome back. Second segment of the break live in SWBC
That was one of the
Studios.
best. Sorry, I should have let you finish. I'm
at
sorry.
the Star. Feel free. Go.
I was gonna say that was one of my favorite pieces of content. The one y'all did It's been a while, but it was with Lyle. Dressed
Lyle?
as Elf.
Lyle.
Yes, and he went to the stadium.
Oh, yeah.
That was
Lyle,
pretty
I
funny.
remember
It's been
that
a
one.
while since that.
Lyle on the shelf. That's what it was, wasn't it?
I don't know if they did the shelf, but they said Lyle was his character.
Nice.
It was pretty good.
I guarantee you, they haven't. No one's ever had that costume that
No?
big.
Probably not.
No one's ever ordered that on Amazon.
Yeah.
I need the 3X, please, for the elf
Yeah,
costume.
if you rent that one, I'm guessing I had to have that made for him, not rented.
Forgot about that one.
All right, let's
I
get
did
a
too.
phone call. We got a phone call from Rob. Actually, first of all, second segment brought to you by blockchain.com. Let's get to the phone lines. We got a call from Rob in Las Vegas. Rob, what up?
Hey, long time no talk.
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm good. Yeah, never bet against those wise guys in Vegas.
No,
They know
hell
what
no.
they're doing. Looking at this game, to me, Dak needs this game even more than the team. He's hearing he can't beat good teams, quarterbacks, and I think the recipe's simple. He just needs to throw less and run more. When he runs, even against Chicago, they just look so different. And I don't mean it's like he doesn't run anymore like he used to, but you have to force him. That designed run that they did by the goal line, maybe from 10 yards out in Chicago, was great. I think they need to do more like that, especially in the red zone. And I just think that's when he is really a top 10 quarterback, is when you combine his legs with his arm. If he's just going to stand in the pocket, I think we're just losing out on too much stuff. And I think he's just an average QB. So I just hope they get it, and they just see that, hey, listen, we got to get this guy running. Forget about the contract. Forget about how much money. Forget about the ankle. And I just think if he does that, this team could be really, really good.
Awesome. Thanks for the call.
I agree 1,000%. I do. I know we've talked about it. I don't know. What is it? I mean, that's one thing you just don't know. Is it the Cowboys saying that? Is it Dak saying that? Is he just doesn't feel like he's got it? Is he not comfortable? But he has never been a guy that could stand in the pocket and make throws that like the other guys. That's not his game. That's why he was drafted where he was drafted.
Sure.
But he was, he's a baller though. Like that's what he is. He's the guy that flips over the top in Arizona for a touchdown, or against Seattle where he just busts through people. And that's him. He was a tank playing quarterback. I remember the game against Denver, Week 2, 2017. They lost by 25 points.
The lightning delay.
Yeah, and at the end of the game, he throws a pick to Talib, maybe, or somebody was running 100 yards, and he's over there fighting through blockers at the end and diving and all that. And I remember thinking, that's my quarterback right there. He's a football player playing quarterback. And right now, I think he's a quarterback playing quarterback, and he needs to be that football player again, because that's what makes him who he is, and he's got to get that back. If not, then he's getting paid too much money, honestly, because he's not the same type of thrower. He's just not a thrower like the rest. He's got to be in the game, feeling it and all that. Hope he gets it back.
Yep. All right, let's get I had a couple questions for you guys about the matchup, Cowboys versus Vikings. First question I have for you guys: if you had to make the decision, do you travel Diggs with Jefferson?
Yes.
Most of the time, yeah. Most of the time.
You did a good job, by the way, on the radio this morning talking about that.
Thank you. But I'm trying to think what I said. But
no, you were saying that it's something you need to consider. Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but man.
What is that caveat? You said most of the time. When would you not?
Well, just because once you get, I don't think you do anything all of the time other than, play your quarterback or whatever. But just because teams get a read on that, and Thielen's pretty damn good on the other side too.
Yeah.
So I
KJ Osborne,
tight end.
Yeah,
tight end.
Osborne, yeah. This is a good group.
You got some receivers.
So I kind of trick it up a little bit, but for the most part, yeah, it's whatever you did last year.
The Vikings are a team that they'll run the ball, but it's not the most important thing to them.
Yeah.
They're really down on carries when you start to talk about the numbers that they have during. And one of the things that they struggle with is when you can get pressure on Cousins. But 38% of the time, God, I hate when I do this, but I'm going to do it. 38% of the time when he's under pressure, he throws the ball to Jefferson. So if your game plan is to attack him by pass rush, then by all means put your best guy on Jefferson. If 38% of the time he's going to throw the ball in that guy's direction, I'm denying him every opportunity to do it. Mm-hmm. And I think the guy that has the best opportunity to deny the football is Diggs. You know, Diggs is going to look at that number 18 and he's not going to be scared. Mm-hmm. He goes, I've seen you at LSU. Mm-hmm. I've played against you before. I know who you are. I've seen you run routes. Whereas the others are kind of like, man, this guy, all I see is highlights every week of him like catching balls over the top of people and doing the giddy and all that stuff like that. You know, that's all you, is that what it's called? Gritty? What's it called?
It's the gritty.
Gritty? Yeah, okay, he's doing the gritty, you know? And so, I mean, that's all you ever see. So you get scared of that. You get scared. Yeah, and yeah. I'm kind of like, I don't want to see him doing that, you know? And me putting Diggs over on him, if I lose the battle because it's Diggs covering him, so be it. I need to draft better corners. But, man, I ain't going to see him do that little dance in the end zone. not on my watch today.
You go back.
Gritty, right?
Yeah, gritty.
Yeah,
Gritty.
okay.
Yeah.
Gritty. As a matter of fact,
he looks giddy when he's doing it.
Any chance we could get you to do the gritty, Brian?
No.
Any chance?
Because you got to. I think you could do this part, right? Don't you put your hands?
He does that.
Why do you do that? What is that? What's the symbol of that?
You're asking
That's
the wrong
called
person.
David Hellman, and he can tell
Dave
you.
will tell you that.
Okay,
I've
and then
seen Dave
they were doing it back at LSU.
No, they do it at LSU. They always did it at LSU.
Before it became a thing that the NFL or any other guys were doing, they were doing it at LSU.
But now they fake like a hamstring injury. Now a new one is they kind of do it and then they fake an injury and then they start doing it again.
Yeah.
So I mean, I've seen him do that. He gets in the end zone. I don't want to see him faking a hamstring.
Fake an injury, I'm sure, right?
Oh yeah, I could fake, but then I could do that too because every once in a while he'll do it and then he'll throw the eyes up.
There's gonna be an owner that has gonna have like a panic attack or whatever because he sees like their star player down there with a fake injury. Like what?
You fake. Yeah. He did it last week in Buffalo and he got bumped by a lineman. O'Neal bumped him. And then he got mad at O'Neal, like, bro, I didn't finish. I was doing my fake injury, and then I was going into it. And O'Neal's like, way to go. And bumped him. And
I've always had this thought, like, I'm just curious on.
I'm covering him with
players,
7. I'm sorry. It's just me.
On a Saturday night in the hotel room.
Working on that?
Are they moving the bed like to the side and clearing out some space and like really working on this? And okay, you 12 come over here and you be the bowling ball and I'm gonna throw you down and I'm gonna hog tie you. No, you get down there. But if I score, you're not scoring. Oh, okay. Well, if you score, I mean, like there's probably some great things that happen. Imagine like some of the receivers we had back in the day. Oh, yeah. What if like Kenyon Rambo and Reggie Swinton were talking about something? You're not going to score, like you guys. And then
we were lucky.
These great receivers these great players that have these dances that never came to fruition.
Got to the
All
end
right,
zone.
go back to the caller that Rob from Vegas. What's a number that you'd like to see Dak rushing yards? Like what? Let's say what would be a good number for a game?
45.
That's exactly where I was going.
How many games has he had 45 or more?
3. So can we go a little? How about 30?
Did I go too high?
Yeah, a little bit.
30.
We're killing his game. We're killing his game.
But
let's go with 32.
He's not Lamar Jackson.
Yeah. 32.
32. Okay, he's got. Hold on. He's got 16 games there. All right, he's 13-3 when he gets that. 13-3. Yeah. He's 3-0 at 45 for your number. So that's good, but he's not.
And he's 6-14 if he throws for more than 40 passes a game.
Is that what it is?
I think so. Yeah.
Ooh, that's
6 of 15, 6 of 14.
I love this website.
Yeah.
How many passing yards?
More than 40 passes. 40
pass attempts.
40 pass attempts.
Yeah, it's at 20. See a lot of L's there. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 win. Yeah, 6 and 14.
Yeah.
I mean, and actually,
really doing like seriously, like that's frustrating too because that stat was 6-13 before that game, and but
well, let me throw this question in there because it's actually a question that Art Muela just sent in. Actually, he says Kellen's consistent failure to commit to the run is maddening. At what point does McCarthy sit him down and tell him to stick to the run or else? Because I do think as the head coach, at some point, and by the way. He got him to buy in while the backup quarterback was in there.
Sure.
For some reason, last week, that message didn't get sent.
They
didn't think it was as important.
Yeah.
And to me, I look at it and say that is how you win football games this season with this team. What do you guys think of kind of where the blame really lies here?
Well, it lies with the head coach. I mean, because it's on your watch, so you've got to do it. You've got to figure it out. And you're over here talking about everything. You're talking about cleats and what time are you going to get here and there and all these things about it. But it's with you. I mean, you as the head coach. I mean, he's got to be the guy to do that and pull back the reins if you don't understand. Brian, you've said it for that. Every year I've been on a show with you, you say it all the time as a head coach. You've got to know your team. And you got to know that Terrence Steele and Tyler Smith and Tyler Biotish and probably Zach Martin, they're better run blockers than they are pass blockers. Yeah. And the runners are better than the receivers right now. They got better backs than they have receivers even when Zeke's out. So, and Dak's a better game manager than he is a guy that's just going to throw it around the yard. And it's better to run in that kind of conditions than throw.
So how the heck do you get into situations where you try
I don't
to
know.
throw the
You
ball
got an
46
MVP.
times?
You got an MVP and the 2-time MVP that figured it out. And he only threw it 20 times.
Yeah. Well, did he or did his offensive coordinator say, this is what we're going to do? Or his head coach, this is what we're going to do?
Well, he would get them fired if you guys didn't tell him what to do.
I think Green Bay's season, even though their season I think is over now, their season was on the line. I was talking to their guys about it, and they're like, we're not capable of running the ball. We're not capable of running. Monday morning, with the first calls I got were, hey, man, I don't know. I'm like, watch the damn film.
Yeah.
Dallas has trouble defending the run. You guys got two legitimate backs. I mean, why would you not run the ball? And they go, well, we got a quarterback. I'm like, well, that's why. That's how you win games right there. Because you take advantage.
And Rodgers figured it out, too. He's like, I know a way where we can run the ball, and I can throw it to you sideways where I can still get the passing yards and the completion percentage for it, and it's still considered a pass.
But, you mentioned a little earlier, Brian, you were talking about the Vikings, and you were saying, like, they don't commit to the run themselves. Like, they love their passing game.
Oh, they do.
I wonder if this is a week where they do like Green Bay says, and even though they may not do it for other teams, they look at this team and say, oh, this is just too easy. This is just too easy not to, and they're going to commit.
It won't happen.
What's very frustrating is, and most of us, we've watched the game from the sideline, and we've watched the game from the press box. So we have very, very different views from the game at times, bird eyes view, and then just the side. So it is hard to coach a game when you're just watching a sideline, like from here, and trying to figure out. And we know he has this headset. He communicates with other people. So it comes down to me, like, it is hard to know exactly everything that, like, what it looks like from that point of view. So what are you getting that? Because I feel like us on the press box, we're usually like, why are they doing that? Why do they keep doing this? Or why do they keep doing that? Why are they not trying this instead? Like, it seems very simple to the people that are watching from maybe TV or up there, up high, as opposed to what they're actually doing in the game.
Emotions on the sideline play a big part of that, of how play calling. People always say this. They say, play callers always say, I want to be able to look into the quarterback and sit with him and talk with him, or I want to sit. Dan Quinn's like the opposite. Dan's like your approach. Dan wants to see, okay, this is how they're attacking me, and I can get a full, and then you don't get distracted. You don't get distracted by being on the sideline by the emotions. We have Tom Brady take the pad and hum it into the bench, and you're sitting down going, I don't think he's too happy with me right now. Maybe I should think talk. Maybe we should do something differently here. Where if you're upstairs, you could like kind of take your headphones off and not pay attention to what's going on, kind of regroup. I think that's to me. If I was a play caller, I'd want to be upstairs. I'd want to be able to see substitutions and things like that. I mean, they're talking to you and all that, but the emotion of the bench affects play callers, I think, in a negative way in times. I really, really do.
I would like to just see a change in that. And I don't know what you do. I mean, take Kellen Moore up there? Because it is important, too, to be able to have that face-to-face communication during the game. So it's difficult, but at the same time, I think you see things more clearly from up there. And you get a better idea of what's working, what's not, versus what you're seeing from the sideline.
Yeah, you can see the full field. I mean, that's what we all know. Being up there in the press box, you can see the full field. You can see every player on the field at one moment. When you're on the sideline, you can only see what's there. You can't see what's on the other side necessarily as clearly.
Well, too, that's substitution patterns, too. Like, you can, like, from the play caller, you can look down, and as your guys are coming on, you see who they're sending on, so you know immediately what they're in. Down on the field, you don't always get that vantage point of knowing unless somebody upstairs is telling you they got nickel on, and you're having to adjust. Whereas before, if you're upstairs, you could see how they're substituting.
We have 37 coaches, so I mean, I'm sure there's enough.
You won 3 Super Bowls with like 12, I think.
Yeah,
total or 8, something like that, some crazy number.
I tell you what's amazing though is that I think NBA's got more coaches than pro football now.
They got a lot.
I mean,
going to Mavs.
They
have two rows of coaches.
I'm talking about
in the back row
in the NBA.
In the NBA,
NBA's got more than pro football. I mean, it's about equal.
For the number of players you have, you have way too many.
Don't they have like 12 on their roster?
Oh,
they do. And they have a front bench and a back bench.
They've got, and everybody has a job. Like one guy's job is to just yell out every time the shot clock is down to like 8, and that's like when the ball goes across. It's a 24-second shot. So if you're ever lucky enough
shot
to
clock
have,
coach,
I
could do that.
Oh, I could do that.
You guys need to get the Joneses seat.
6, 5, 4. Okay,
Nick has sat in those before.
Yeah, what you need to do is
I said it once, and that's what I remember all the time, and I remember. Yeah, and also the coaches.
It's neat to sit on the floor of an NBA game. It really is cool.
That's pretty awesome.
It is pretty cool.
And I at one time, Dirk and Luka were right there, and it was the only year that they played together, and it was just like, man, this is pretty cool. Like,
the one time I did it, the Rockets were there, and it was when Harden and Westbrook and all those guys were kind of down there. And
they boat race you.
It's kind of fun to be there, literally be in their huddle and like watch the coach break down a play and say, "This is what we're going to do."
Coach, you need a timeout.
Cool experience,
Coach.
Yeah.
Did you try to do that?
No.
You tried to coach?
I did not.
How did we get off on that?
I don't know. We're going to take our final break.
They have enough coaches to figure it out who's in the game and who's not.
We are going to take our final break. When we come back, we got more questions we're going to try to hit here before we go, before we finish the show and get to our picks. We'll do that when we come right back. DallasCowboys.com radio.
The season is finally here. For months, we've been gearing up to win. Now it's time for the team that performs on any field, United Ag and Turf. With John Deere zero turns for mowing, compact tractors for loading, mini excavators for digging, Gator utility vehicles for hauling, implements for grading, hay tools for baling. United Ag and Turf, for winning. The official Ag and Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com for more.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. It's not complicated.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
This week! Did you get to work on time?
Yeah, but I just realized it's Sunday.
Little Sweet says head on home. Dr. Pepper's on its way. So sweet, unique. Baby, there's nothing better. I bet you've probably done something that deserves a Dr. Pepper. Did you invest your nest egg in an NFT?
Yeah, and I don't even know what that is. It's a non-fungible token.
Everyone's done something that deserves a Dr. Pepper.
When you build, you start with the foundation. And home ownership is a foundation of a stable future. The Bank of America Community Homeownership Commitment has helped over 34,000 people lay the groundwork so far, with up to $10,000 towards your down payment or 3% of the purchase price, whichever is less. The satisfaction of owning your own place can become a reality. Visit bankofamerica.com/homeowner to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America N.A. Equal Housing Lender. Credit and collateral is subject to approval. Restrictions apply. This is not a commitment to lend.
Back to the break.
The countdown to our Dallas Cowboys Thanksgiving showdown has begun. Get ready for Turkey Day the Cowboy way and score your game day gear at the nearest pro shop or log on to shop.dallascowboys.com, a Fanatics experience. I got a little...
Turkey Day the Cowboy way. We're writing rhymes now. Okay.
Somebody
in the building
aren't writing the rhymes
Somebody
here.
in the building.
And I tell you who else isn't doing is McCarthy, because the focus. He got one game here. You don't. Yeah, strictly business game.
Focusing on that mac and cheese. Thanksgiving.
And the press box.
Oh, yeah.
I'm ready to be back home at games.
Every year, like when I first started working for the Cowboys, like my mom she'd be like,
worried about you.
She'd be like, you didn't get any Thanksgiving dinner. I was like,
Trust me,
they do it, and I was like, they do it great. They
do.
It's good.
They
She's
do
like,
a great job.
And then she says, "Better than mine." I was like, "Oh no."
Yes, Mom.
Yeah, right. You never say
that. Yesterday when I got home, I'm talking to my mom, and she's asking me, trying to plan out like when can we have meal for Thanksgiving. She's like, and I said, well, the game is at 3:25, so I'll, I have to be there. So lunch and dinner, basically.
Yeah.
That kind of ruins that. And she always gets mad. She's like, I'm not going to say the word, but these Cowboys, they don't care about family time. They always ruin because holidays are always altered by the Cowboys. So she always brings it up like, God.
Y'all just need to move it to Friday. That's what we do. We just do dinner on Friday.
That's exactly what it is.
Do it on Friday.
Yep.
I say it every year. I love it. I love that we work that game. I just like. I think it's my favorite holiday. I just love being a part of the tradition, because it's everybody's tradition. That's what they do. They'll tell you too. Every year at 3:00 we eat, and that's good. But somebody's got to play the game. We watch NBA on Christmas Day. Well, somebody's
got to
playing
play
those games,
and some families affected by that.
And so
or families,
and it's a challenge.
But you get used to it.
Yeah, you
it's
do.
what we do.
We've built our family tradition around that now. So our family goes to the stadium on game day on Thanksgiving. It's the only day of the year my family goes to the game, but they go on Thanksgiving because that's just what we do.
And you watch them get beat.
Sometimes we do. Sometimes we watch them get
Buffalo, Chargers, doesn't matter.
Oh, well, what was that? Back when they were the Redskins, that was not a pleasant Thanksgiving.
Colt McCoy. Was that a Colt McCoy game?
I would say that was
RG3.
RG3, right?
Might have been an RG3 game.
Yeah, back in 2012. Yeah, that was a good one.
That was.
Yeah.
But, let's not overlook the 8-1 Vikings here.
We do have a game before we get to Thanksgiving.
Just kind of moving on from that right now.
All right, tell you what, let's get a couple more questions. We got a phone call. We'll take a phone call real quick from Ray in Fort Worth. Ray, what you got?
Hey, couple of things. I think Dak gets too much of the blame here. He's more than a game manager. As fans, we watch the game, but we don't really watch the game because when he threw that interception, one interception, I can't remember what. But it's on the receivers too, because the defender just let CeeDee Lamb go by because he's just staring at Dak. If CeeDee Lamb goes across the defender's face with his body, then that guy never has a chance to come up and intercept the ball. But it's always Dak's fault, even though the offense had a 14-point lead. Secondly, I like what Micah Parsons said. I love it. We need more of it. We don't need to run him on the edge all the time because that's, to me, if I'm a defensive coach, great. Send him on the edge. Great. Take him out the middle. You want to see how bad our run defense will be, how bad it'll be then? The guy's a complete player. He can cover, he can blitz, and a lot of times running sideline to sideline, he's saved. I've seen in 2 years, I've seen him save the defense from making even bigger mistakes. Now, you're right. Dak needs to probably run more with guys like Zadarius Smith coming off. Especially, I think that's going to be a big play. He does need to use his legs more. I don't know. Maybe he's not completely healthy. I don't know. But I've seen in the past, I can't remember one season, he had so many running touchdowns, and he'll be fine. I think fans need to back the hell off and really watch what you're seeing. Hell, watch the tape.
All right, we thank you for the call.
It just drives me crazy. Thanks, guys.
All right, appreciate it. And that actually brings up a question that we got on Twitter, I think, as well. I'm trying to find it right here. What would you guys do with Micah this week? Obviously, last week they played about linebacker primarily, and the thought was you were facing a team you thought was going to run the ball. That was a way of maybe using him a little bit more. Nick, you think it took him out of the game a little bit more. What would you do with him in a game like this?
Well, first things first. I gotta stop the run. I gotta play a defense.
Where's he best if you're trying to stop the run?
Well, he's not going to be on the defensive end. He's going to have to be at linebacker, I think. He's got to play linebacker. I think that's what the focus has to be. Stop the run, get to that third down situation. Then you can figure out what you're going to do, different guys. And he can move around, move to the outside and all that. But I think that they're going to have to figure that out. But it starts with stop the run first. And if that's – and that's what's scary, and that's what Brian's talking about, is that when you play a defense to stop the run, it's going to leave you exposed to the receivers in the passing game. So this is definitely going to be a tough matchup. But you got to hope Pride factors in here at some point.
I'd play him opposite. I would play him opposite of Tank, just because, and then I would think about playing Diggs. If you travel Diggs, put Diggs on to the side of where somebody that can play the run, that plays it well. If it means him playing left corner where Tank is over there, or put him on a side, because if you put Diggs on the side where you have like Armstrong and Basham and those guys, then all of a sudden you get hooked corner, you don't get linebacker inside, and then you don't get outside fill. So if you have somebody at the edge that can play the run, I would do that. I would put Parsons opposite, if you're going to play him on the edge, play him opposite Tank and let him run the ball. Now, he's had some problems when they've run the ball at him, but most likely teams are right-handed, so you'll get the ball to go away from. So that would be Parsons chasing the ball. And I think that's where you're at, where Tank can hold up. But I would put strength in front of Diggs. So, if you put weak with weak with weak, then you're going to probably give up the edge more. But if you put him to the side where maybe you have some of your stronger run defenders, then you won't expose him to much to have to be a force player, as they're going to need him in this game.
I'm just curious. I mean, for this game, linebacker would be for me. But I'm curious to see what happens with a hurt DeMarcus Lawrence. And, right now it's looking like he's going to play this game and all that. And this is nothing new to him, really. He's played through injuries before. But if his level of play drops down a little, now I'm looking at the line completely different to where, okay, would Micah be needed to add something in there, some pressure from his play, but as a defensive end instead?
I also got to remember, too, DeMarcus is one of the more veteran players on this team. He knows what this week looks like more than anybody. And so, I think, yes, you put him on there. He's banged up. He's got some issues, but he's looking ahead. He knows that he's got to be somewhat healthy this week, got to play the game. Then we got a short week. He's going to from right now in 6 days, there's going to be 2 football games being played. So he gets that because his body has felt it. So I think that's where some of it is. I think he's doing more maintenance on himself and maybe some
understanding
other
what that's going to
understanding that he's dealing with some stuff, and let's because this team, I don't know what they lead the league in practice injuries. I don't know what's going on, but I mean there's things that like, oh well, this flared up on Thursday's practice or something like that. So whatever they're doing Thursday, that's probably a decent day to not practice. But
all right, we're going to get our predictions, see what you guys think is going to happen in this game. Nick, let's start with you this week.
If the Bills had just gotten the snap and moved forward and not lost that game at the very end of there and won, then I think it's a completely different game. I think you got an even hungrier Vikings team. They're figuring out how to win, but that's not the way the league works. It cycles back through, and it's time for a loss. So I think they're going to lose the game. I do. I think that at 8-1, I don't think they're as good as their record.
You're saying Minnesota's going to lose?
Minnesota's going to lose the game. I don't think they're as good as their record. And I think that they're playing these close games, and the league isn't designed for you to keep winning these type of games. I think the Cowboys, I think the offense is actually, look at what's happened in the last few games since Dak's come back. They're starting to figure it out. They lost last week 28 points on the road, 42 the week before. So I think they win 31-30. I think it's going to be a fun, high-scoring game. I think they win it. I think they figure out a way to win. I think the Vikings figure out a way to lose this one, 31-30.
Amber?
I think the Cowboys win. They have a chance to win and I think to me the key for this game is just start fast. Like, go in there and play some football. Don't allow yourself to fall behind or start a slow half of the game. You need to start fast right off the bat. So Dak needs to go in there and start just moving the chains. They need to run the ball like we keep talking about, but I think to me that's the key. Just don't wait till the second half of the game for you to get your crap together, and by that time usually it ends up being too late. So that's what happens, and I've seen it happen too many times. And I do think usually they play a very close game, so they can win if the offense scores. So I think maybe they win by a field goal. I don't know don't really know. They maybe 23-21, something like that. But by a field. No, that's not even a field goal right there. I don't even know how to. Yeah, there you go. 24-21.
Right.
Minnesota wins this game, and because what happens is they force turnovers. And when you lose, you turn over the ball, whether it's Philadelphia, whether it's the Green Bay, they're going to force you to make turnovers. You're playing in a really hostile environment, a very loud crowd. It's going to be communication. The Cowboys have proven they've had problems with communication, whether it's run defense, whether it's the receivers, quarterback. They've had problems, To me, this is – I don't like the matchup because I feel like, though, that there's too many things. This is a really good group of receivers, and they found ways to make plays. This team doesn't get down. When they're down, they find ways to win, and I think there's something to that, whether it's luck, magic, whatever you want to call it, they found it. And so I think Dallas loses this game. I think it's going to be 28-24. I just feel like that the Vikings just – they're going to run their offense, and their offense is tough to stop. And again, communication problems on defense or on offense for you could lead to turnovers. That's what the Vikings do. So I see them getting this home victory.
I actually think I agree with Nick. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think that I think both teams will run the ball really well. I do think that both teams will have some big plays in the passing game. Although the passing game won't be the story of the game. The game will be that both teams ran the ball well, in my opinion. But I think it'll be a high-scoring game. I think it'll be a lot of big plays, and I think the Cowboys end up winning on the road because I do believe they are the better team between these two teams. I think Cowboys win a close game, 34-31 on the road in Minnesota. All right, appreciate you guys joining us. We'll be back Monday. We'll let you know what went right and wrong, get you guys ready on a quick, short week for Thanksgiving. Until then, for Nick Eatman, Brian Broaddus, Amber Garcia, I'm Derek Eagleton. This has been The Break, live on DallasCowboys.com radio.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this?